What if I told you that ancient civilizations from other planets have left their DNA, their memories, and their trauma coded into our very cells? Today we're exploring a groundbreaking book that's challenging everything we thought we knew about human consciousness and our cosmic origins.
You know, that's such a fascinating way to frame it. And this isn't just theoretical. We're talking about real experiences, documented evidence, and a growing body of research that's starting to validate these ancient connections.
Well, before we dive deeper, I should mention that this is the premiere episode of Outlaw Alchemy, available exclusively through divinecollectives.org. And we're exploring Steve Cates's revolutionary new book, Echoes of Maldek and Lemuria's Reawakening.
You know what really struck me about this book? The way it opens with Steve's raw, personal story from 1995. That moment of complete surrender, when he heard those words, "Fear no more."
That's exactly what makes this book so different from your typical spiritual text. It starts with this brutal honesty about addiction, rage, religious struggles. But then it opens up into something so much bigger.
Right. And what's fascinating is how he connects his personal journey to this larger cosmic narrative. Like when he talks about that tender ache behind your sternum, that feeling we all seem to carry, but can't quite explain.
Well, let's break this down for our listeners. The book introduces this concept of the veil of forgetting, not as some impenetrable barrier, but more like a protective filter that actually helps us function in our current reality.
So what you're saying is that we're not meant to remember everything at once. It would be too overwhelming.
Exactly. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to process millions of years of past life memories while also trying to remember where you put your car keys. The veil exists for a reason, but it's becoming thinner as we evolve.
You know what really blew my mind? The section about Maldek. This entire planet that existed between Mars and Jupiter, now just an asteroid belt. The way Steve describes those crystal temples, the advanced civilization.
And here's where it gets really interesting. He explains how the destruction of Maldek wasn't just some random cosmic event. It was the result of consciousness gone wrong, of ego and power, taking precedence over unity and love.
Well, that certainly hits close to home when we look at what's happening on Earth right now, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why this book is so relevant. It's not just ancient history. It's a warning and a guide for our current evolutionary moment. When he talks about the Orion Empire and how negative forces can mimic light, that explains so much about our modern world.
The way he breaks down the density levels and the ray system. It's like getting an operator's manual for your soul. And when he explains how negative entities actually have to skip the green ray, the heart center.
That's such a crucial point. It explains why love and compassion are such powerful forces against control and manipulation. You literally cannot maintain a negative polarity while fully opening your heart.
Well, speaking of powerful forces, can we talk about the Lemurian aspect? The way Steve describes these gentle giants, their connection to sound and creation.
You know what fascinates me about that? The evidence we're finding in ancient structures around the world, the acoustic properties of megalithic sites, the way certain frequencies can alter consciousness. It all starts to make sense.
And when he talks about the 69 million raw collective light forces currently incarnated on Earth, that's not just a random number. It correlates with various prophetic traditions and even some modern demographic patterns.
Let's dive into the practical applications here. Steve provides specific tools, meditation techniques, sound healing practices, ways to recognize and work with these ancient memories as they surface.
And he's very clear about the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. It's not about escaping our current reality. It's about transforming it.
Exactly, Rusty. And that's what makes this book so powerful. It's not just a history lesson or a cosmic tale. It's a call to action. Steve dives deep into the chapters, starting with that must-read introduction, The Echo of the Name You Forgot, where he shares his own awakening journey. From addiction and surrender in 1995 to discovering his connection to the Raw Collective, it's raw and relatable. He describes falling to his knees, feeling a presence say, "Don't be afraid, I have you. I am here, fear no more." That moment shifted everything for him, pulling him toward light and service.
Oh man, that introduction hits hard. He talks about that veil of forgetting we all live behind, how it's there to protect us from overwhelming past life memories, but also challenges us to choose love or self-service anew. And his personal stories, like feeling his grandmother's presence as a guide, or using dowsing rods to confirm his family's ties to Ra. It's like he's handing you the tools to start your own remembrance. He even shares how his grandmother would call him in the middle of the night during his darkest times, saying, "I'm praying for you. I'm thinking of you. I love you." It's that unwavering love that turns out to be part of a larger spiritual protection.
Absolutely. And he weaves in how Christianity initially sheltered him, with beautiful moments of worship and music, but eventually the questions grew too big about creation, angels, hell, and systems of control. It's inspiring how he honors that phase as protective, even as he evolved beyond it.
Yeah, and the veil concept is so key. He explains it as a deliberate hiding so we can make unbiased choices, polarizing toward service to others or self. Without it, we'd be influenced by past lives. But with it, every decision is a true test of the heart.
Right, and then, Chapter 1, The First Breath of the Nine, sets the foundation. Here, Steve explains the infinite creator as this curious love and oneness, the nine in vortex math symbolizing perfect balance. It's not some distant deity. It's the source experiencing itself through us, with free will as the first law allowing infinite paths. He says the Creator thought, what if I forget? What if I step out, blindfold myself, and still find my way back? That's the essence of free will, the first distortion.
That ties into the law of one material he references so much. It's all about polarization. Choosing service to others, like 51% giving to graduate to higher densities, or service to self, a tougher 95% path that's all about control. But Steve emphasizes how the veil makes our choices genuine, without past biases influencing us. He shares how he's always chosen service to others, even in his darkest nights, giving when it hurt.
And he connects it to everyday life, like how drugs and alcohol are coping mechanisms for those lost behind the veil, not excuses but effects of forgotten higher paths.
Moving into Chapter 2, the beginning of our story, he traces our first fracture all the way back to Lyran origins and the planet Tal, this early water world in the man-star system known as Lyra to us today, where souls first experimented with very light veils of forgetting. It exploded due to the unbalancing of polarities, scattering souls, and creating a faint asteroid belt in what is now known as the Kepler 62 star system today. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when love and power clash. Tal was like a fast track for soul growth, but the shadows emerged from curiosity about separation.
Exactly. And that scattering led to the formation of groups like the Confederation of Planets, watching over without interfering. Steve describes it as souls wondering about being alone at the top, birthing the Dracon lineage of negative entities.
And that leads right into Maldek in Chapter 3. Maldek, Harmony's Calling, the second fracture. Maldek was this advanced planet with crystal temples and big-hearted beings focused on unity. But negative influences from the Orion Empire snuck in, mimicking light to push ego and control. leading to its destruction 3.2 billion sols ago. Now it's the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Echoes of that trauma still in our DNA. He talks about the soul crystal's final scream, shattering the planet.
Fascinating how he connects that to modern fears, like nuclear threats. Then there's the section on Atlantis, where similar crystal tech went wrong, causing floods and sinks. And the Anunnaki get a whole rethink in Chapter 4. Not gold-mining aliens like some myths say, but visitors kept at bay by Earth's guardians to protect our free will. Myths got twisted to hide their true opportunistic nature.
Exactly. Steve debunks the twisted myths. The Anunnaki were more like opportunistic wanderers, but Earth's veil and councils like the Andromedan one limited their interference. It's empowering to see how we're protected on a cosmic level, with beings like the Za-Natin Alliance dispersing protectors for raw incarnates.
He even mentions the Ujiji as lesser visitors, all part of this cosmic drama. Chapter 5. The Inner Wanderers, the third and fourth sanctuaries, covers the migrations after Maldek. Souls went to Mars as a red-green cradle, trying to rebuild harmony, but war scarred it too, leaving it barren. Then Earth became the sanctuary planet, with Venus as a sixth-density anchor of compassion, bridging love energies.
Venus as this compassionate bridge. That's beautiful. It explains why some feel drawn to it, like a beacon of heart energy. And he describes Mars as the third sanctuary, a place of red-green balance before conflicts arose.
Chapter 6. The unseen family that never left the garden dives into spirit guides, ancestors, and beings like Hathors and Seraphim who stay close, respecting free will but ready to help when asked. Steve shares his experiences with dowsing rods, revealing his grandmother as a guide, and the Hathor songs stirring ancient memories.
It's touching. He talks about feeling presences around him always, and how asking questions invites them in. The law of one ensures they never violate free will.
Speaking of negatives, Chapter 7, the shadow that learned to wear light, the Empire of Orion, breaks down the service to self path. Groups like Siakar and Nebu Grays feed on Lush, that emotional energy from fear. But Steve stresses they're not invincible. Love starves them out. He describes Siakar as tall reptilians with wings of screams, starting from Tall's curiosity.
Yeah, and it's not about fighting. It's about choosing heart over fear. They mimic light to deceive, but true discernment reveals them. Chapter 8. The Earth Chronicles. The cycles of forgetting and remembering covers Lemuria, as the continent of gentle giants using sound for creation, and Atlantis with its crystal fire that led to downfall. From 14,000 years ago to now, it's all cycles of remembering. Lemuria had coral cities and whales carrying singers.
Atlantis contrasted with crystal and fire, leading to ego-driven destruction. The cycles show we're in a remembering phase now, with the photon belt aiding the shift.
The ray system in Chapter 9 is like a soul's operator manual. From red ray, root existence, to violet, gateway to higher, and the white gold octave return. Green ray is key. The heart density negatives skip because it demands compassion. He maps it to chakras. Red for pure existence, orange for relationships, yellow for choice in the veiled density.
Blue for sacred sound, indigo where names fall away, violet the living gateway. It's practical. Activate green ray through compassion to protect against negatives.
Love that. Explains why opening your heart is the ultimate protection. Chapter 10. The living ladder of light maps the true hierarchies, from elementals and devas guarding nature to Elohim creating stars, all in service without control. Devas hold blueprints for plants, gnomes polish crystals, fairies paint petals.
It's a love and ladder, not a power pyramid. cherubim as spinning wheels with 4 faces, guardians like Bigfoot protecting sacred places.
Chapter 11, on the service to self path, warns about hidden branches, beings walking as humans, but from negative lines. But it's balanced with hope. Even they can choose differently. The hidden branches include those from Orion or Siakar lines, influencing subtly.
And he emphasizes the perfect balance. The universe counters every shadow with light.
Then Chapter 12, the Sacred Agreements, explores soul contracts, karma, and collective pacts. It's about understanding why we face certain challenges, agreed upon for growth. Contracts like family ties, lessons in forgiveness.
Chapters 13 to 15 build to the cleanup mission, the quiet after, the clean up the mission, and the last fear. Steve talks about ending the feeding cycles, starving shadows with love, and simple ways home through forgiveness. The song that starves a shadow is choosing love over fear repeatedly.
He shares personal attacks from entities, using tensor rings and granite to create protective fields. And through those fields, he downloaded visions of Maldek and Lemuria.
And Chapter 16, Lemuria, the first paradise that remembered the song, revives hope with details on their sound healing, coral cities, and how their essence is reawakening now. The Andara heart crystals sinking hearts, sinking in 3 days from twisted fear.
It's our hope reawakening, with gentle giants remembering the song of unity.
Finally, Chapter 17, the family of light, wanderers, star seeds, and the tools of remembrance, reveals the counts, the total numbers of light forces currently incarnate, balanced against the shadows currently incarnate. Traits of wanderers, like feeling out of place, deep empathy, and tools like sidereal astrology, true star positions, versus distorted tropical, and Ra's original tarot as archetypal mirrors.
Sidereal astrology aligning with real skies, revealing cosmic purpose. Tarot as Ra's gift to Egyptians. 22 major arcana for self-study, not fortune-telling. Cards like the Lovers for the Great Choice. The Tower for ego struck by lightning.
The book wraps with references like Law of One, Bringers of the Dawn, Elena Denan, and a glossary demystifying terms like louche, Merkaba, and photon belt. Steve's message, feel it, remember, transform. He ends with, we are home. The circle is complete. The song rises.
Absolutely, Jack. This isn't just reading. It's awakening. He encourages walking barefoot, touching the ground, invoking St. Germain's violet flame. Listeners, grab Echoes of Maldek and Lemuria's Reawakening at divinecollectives.org. Thanks for joining Outlaw Alchemy. Until next time, remember, you're more than you know. Dive deeper, ask your guides, and let the remembrance begin.
Adonai, friends, stay in the light. And if this resonates, share your own stories. We're all part of this cosmic family.